Hello friends, welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new here. Today we're going to be talking about two different weapons that are extremely similar in a lot of ways. This video is going to try to help you understand which one I think is better in most cases for most people. There will be some exceptions to that, and I want to show both sides, the positives to both weapons, but overall I think one of them is used way less than it should be right now, and maybe we can help change that with this video. But as always, if you like the content, if you're already subscribed, be sure to hit the notification bell. I think my notification percentage is really low for most YouTube channels, and that's because I never talk about it. I never ask people to turn the bell on to see the notifications. So if you want to see more of my content, be sure to hit that bell. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe as well. Drop a like, drop a comment, and help support the YouTube channel and the website. I appreciate all you guys. Let's jump into it and talk about these two weapons. Alright, so the two guns I'm talking about are the PPSh and the MAC-10. They are extremely similar weapons. They have identical movement speeds. They both have high fire rates. They both have relatively controllable recoil. The MAC-10 is a little better in terms of recoil. But overall, they're just incredibly similar guns. So I wanted to talk about them and talk about usage percentage. So the MAC-10 is currently the 5th most picked gun in Warzone. So people still love the MAC-10, and I think a lot of people would prefer the PPSh if they just tried it out and just decided to see that it was actually a very competitive gun. So I've got basically my recommended builds here. The MAC-10, because the MAC-10 comes with good iron sights, you can get an extra attachment slot. So again, that's a big benefit of the MAC-10. But overall, I still prefer the PPSh. So the MAC-10 here, I've got agency suppressor, 53 round drum, patrol grip, tiger team spotlight. Again, if you want to see why I like the patrol grip, go back 2 videos. I talk about the patrol grip in my fastest movement speed in Warzone video. I think it's much underrated. It's a very good attachment. If you want really good hip fire, then maybe go with the bruiser. But overall, I think most of your time is going to be sprinting or ADS moving, which means that sprint speed is going to be more important because movement speed doesn't scale with ADS movement speed anyway. There's really no reason to go with the just movement speed buff when you can get even more sprint speed with the patrol grip. Tiger Team Spotlight gives you good mobility as well with movement speed and ADS movement speed. So like I said, I feel like the PPSh needs an optic. So it's the same exact build, biggest mag, microflex optic, just because that's the one that comes with the pre-order for Vanguard. It has an awesome optic, awesome sight picture. Everything else is the same between these two builds. So this means the MAC-10 gets an extra attachment. So let's go look at the MAC-10 attachments real quick. So basically, MAC-10 has better recoil than PPSh, but worse TTKs. So it has a little bit less damage range, but better recoil. So that kind of makes up for it. Basically, we could put a stock on here to get better ADS movement speed if we want. We can get the Raider stock or the SAS Combat stock, either one. Basically, SAS Combat's going to give you a little better ADS movement speed, but the Raider stock's going to give you those sprint to fire bonuses. But the Raider stock also kills your hip fire even more. So if you hip fire at all, the combat stock might be better for you. But sprint to fire is really important, especially on the MAC-10 and PPSh, because they both have open bolt delay. So if you're up close in a fight and you both react at the same time, open bolt delay basically should be factored into TTK because it's there. I mean, you click the fire button and it doesn't fire, and their gun does fire. So I think it should be included for up close combat specifically. Times that it doesn't matter is when they don't see you first, but a lot of the times if you see each other at the same time, you should include sprint to fire time. So it is important for guns with open bolt delay because they have that extra delay from sprinting to when you can fire, just because of the open bolt delay also being included in that. So that's probably what I would say would be the best option here, would be Raider stock. This is going to give you better ADS movement speed than the PPSh, but then the PPSh is going to have a better optic because this just doesn't have an optic. The irons are good on the MAC-10, like I said, but they're not as good as having an optic. So that's the difference there. So that's what I'm going to recommend. If you wanted to increase the bullet velocity and damage range, you could do the Task Force barrel. But again, this is going to basically give it similar recoil to the PPSh. So at that point, it seems kind of silly to not just use the PPSh because you're going to get better TTKs, more damage per mag, the same mobility, the same recoil. It just kind of seems like in that case, the PPSh is just going to be better. So really, I think Raider stock is the best option. All right, so let's start with summary stats of these two weapons. You can ignore range modifier, vertical recoil, and horizontal bounce. This is on the dev environment of the website because I'm using some of the advanced premium features that are coming soon, and those are not currently calculating correctly, but everything else is correct on here. So I've got those same builds. Basically, MAC-10 shoots faster, so it shoots at 1100 RPM, which is nice. The faster RPM is almost always better. The only thing that's bad about a fast RPM is that it eats through ammo, and unless you have a huge magazine when you're shooting that fast, your damage per mag is going to be very low. So we'll look at damage per mag as well. PPSh still has a very good fire rate, one of the fastest SMGs at 900 RPM. ADS times are the same. Sprint to fires are actually the same. I need to update this. This is the old sprint to fire when I included open bolt delay. I need to remove that from there. But the sprint to fires are exactly the same. They'll be the same here on the PPSh. Movement speeds are the same. Like I said, the base movement speed, sprint speed, things like that are all the same between the MAC-10 and the PPSh. Because the MAC-10 gets that extra attachment slot and has the ADS movement speed modifier, it's going to have better ADS movement speed, which is very important. So I don't want to say the PPSh is better in all cases. It's easier to control, has better ADS movement speed, and with the Raider stock, it's going to have better sprint to fire times. Again, I just need to update these. These are not correct currently. Bullet velocity is going to be the same. Reload time is the same. Mag size is one huge difference. So with the PPSh, you can get the gigantic mag, 71 round drum mag. That is amazing for quads. Very nice for trios. And it barely hurts your ADS times. It's not a big deal to use that. So that's really, really nice. Strafe speed, sprint speed, basically the same. PPSh is highly mobile. I don't think most people know that. But let's go look at TTKs now. So we're going to start just chest shots. Looking at chest shots, PPSh is magenta and MAC-10 is orange. So PPSh edges out the MAC-10 just by 10 milliseconds. I mean, this is like not even worth mentioning. It is just slightly faster with the PPSh. And then it has a little bit more damage range as well. Again, I said you could put the task force barrel on the MAC-10 and get it out to basically the same as the PPSh. But again, that's just kind of making it like a worse PPSh. It has the same recoil, smaller magazine, same mobility. I think overall, it's just in that case, better to use the PPSh. I'd say Raider stock's a better choice for the MAC-10. And then out at range, the TTK of the PPSh is going to be better than the MAC-10 by a decent amount. So this is 741 versus 788. So it's like 45 milliseconds better. TTK is out at range. This is chest shots. But then using the new advanced TTK calculator, so this is 11% headshots, 7% neck shots, 32% chest, 15% stomach, and 35% extremities. I think those are pretty good numbers for an SMG. So this is like 18% around the head, which is roughly what people get in Cold War, which is where these numbers came from. Chest at 32%. Stomach is a smaller hitbox, so it's down at 15%. And then extremities, 35%. People don't think they hit extremities that much, but looking at the Cold War numbers, extremities are a huge percentage of the shots that you hit. But looking at this, the TTKs are basically exactly the same in terms of how they differ. So the PPSh basically is just a little bit faster in the first range, and then even more fast in the second range. So overall, TTKs are pretty similar, but the PPSh just edges out the MAC-10 by a little bit. So basically, you should be getting a feel for this. They're very, very, very similar guns. MAC-10 edges it out in terms of recoil, edges it out slightly in mobility, but that's barely even worth talking about. But the PPSh with that 71 round drum and slower fire rate means that it puts out dramatically more damage per mag. So this is again those same shot location percentages on a damage per mag chart. It says TTK DPS chart. That's just because we haven't finished programming yet, but it's close. Basically, you get 1800 damage per mag with the PPSh 71 round drum and only 1163 with these percentages with the MAC-10. So that's huge. The MAC-10 really, for trios and quads, really works well with throwing knives because you just don't have the damage per mag to finish your downs. But with the PPSh, you can finish two people. You can down them and finish them with one magazine. Reload times are the same between the two guns. So this is just a huge benefit for the two most popular game modes, which are trios and quads. So I think this alone kind of puts the PPSh above the MAC-10. But let's go look at the recoil, compare the recoil, and see how much more recoil the PPSh has than the MAC-10, and see if that brings the MAC-10 back into a competitive realm. Alright, so we're dropping into a plunder match now to test the recoil between the MAC-10 and the PPSh. So because the PPSh shoots slower and has a higher damage per bullet, in order to do the same amount of damage as a 53 round drum on the MAC-10, you only use 45 bullets on the PPSh. So we're going to compare 45 shots from the PPSh to the 53 round drum on the MAC-10. So that's something else to note. You don't have to use the 71 round drum on the PPSh. I just really like it because it's a unique attachment that makes me have ridiculous amounts of damage per mag. But even with the 55 round drum on the PPSh, you're going to have way more damage per mag than the 53 round drum on the MAC-10. So that's something to keep in mind. That gives it even better ADS times, and it will have better ADS times than the MAC-10 then at that point. So that's another plus for the PPSh over the Mac. So we're going to do the recoil test. Like I said, I got to shoot these bullets down and get 45 shots. So this will be equivalent damage per shot. So we're going to go to the same distance here. I'm not going to measure it. I'm just going to start at the same spot and then straight for the side. So this is the PPSh first, 45 shots, same amount of damage as the 53 shots on the MAC-10. There's a good amount of recoil, but it's definitely controllable. and we'll just strafe over to the side and compare to the MAC-10. These are both those meta builds that I showed before. So overall, they have almost identical amounts of recoil per damage output, which is how you should measure recoil. Literally, these are like exactly the same height. The MAC-10 has much more like bounciness left to right. You can see how much thicker this recoil plot is as it goes up, whereas this is tighter. So at longer ranges, you're probably going to be able to be more precise with your bullets once you get used to the PPSh's recoil. They even have very similar recoil plots where they go a little bit to the right first and then a little bit to the left and then back to the right. The PPSh has a little bit sharper angles maybe, so like up here it's a little sharper up the right, but really this first area is where most of your shots are going to take place in most fights, and you can see they're almost identical in that range. So overall, recoil is a wash between the two of them. I'd say PPSh is actually a little bit better just because it's so much tighter horizontally there. And like I said, this is the red dot sight that comes with pre-ordering Vanguard. And you can see you get a ridiculously clear sight picture with this. It's the best red dot sight in the game. You know, they like to like toe the edge of pay to win. It's not really pay to win because it's not that amazing. It's just a red dot sight, but clearly you get a better sight picture than you get with the irons and the MAC-10. So even though you get that extra attachment on the MAC-10, you still get the benefit of a better sight picture on the PPSh with these two builds. Let's do a quick little recoil test on the sign. So I do this in a lot of my videos where I try to shoot this sign. This is not the normal mouse that I use, with definitely a higher sensitivity than I'm used to. So for me personally, this isn't going to be a hugely important comparison, but at like 50 meters, I can pretty much hold this on that sign, no problem. Same with the MAC-10. The MAC-10 has probably a little less visual bounce just because it shoots faster. That's something I've talked about in the past. Visual recoil is reduced when the time between bullets is reduced. So the faster RPM is going to make it look a little bit less bouncy. But overall, I would say I feel pretty comparable in terms of shots that I can hit with the two guns. All right, well, that's all I wanted to cover. I just wanted to show the pros and cons of the PPSh and the MAC-10. Overall, I think the PPSh is a better gun. As I tried to show in this video, TTKs are a little bit better, damage per mag is dramatically better, mobility is the same, the optics a little bit better than the irons that you get on the MAC-10, but of course you get better sprint to fire on the MAC-10 because you get the radar stock, but that means you get better hip fire on the PPSh. There's a lot of things to consider. Overall, I think the PPSh is better and way underused right now. It's not even close to the 5% pick rate that the MAC-10 is. So I just wanted to, you know, popularize it. There's some different guns out there you can use. You don't have to stick with the MAC-10. PPSh really, in a lot of ways, is just a better MAC-10. But as always, if you guys like the content, drop a sub. If you're already subscribed, remember you can turn the notification bell on. Obviously, you don't have to. I'm just reminding you guys that exists. If you want that to be on, then you'll get notified when I make videos. You can see them quicker and get to the real meta quicker. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.